Hi, welcome back to A Valiant Effort. I'm Josh.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Ted.
And today we're driving a 2017 Ford Escape SE.
This is the first car that we reviewed that has less than 200 horsepower and less than 200 foot-pounds of torque, so it's not very fast.
But surprisingly, it has a faster 20 to 60 time than the Edge.
Yeah, it's so small, though, I think, is
It really is the weight.
It's a tiny little car. We actually felt that it really feels more like just like a higher Focus, a raised up Focus.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't really have anything positive to say, or necessarily negative. It's true. It's just.
Yeah. Well, it's
fine. It's fine for daily driving. It has enough power where you need it.
It's not uncomfortable.
For me, it lacks a little bit of passing speed.
It's bad.
On the
It'd be
highway,
nice if you could get a little bit more there, but
like on a road, right now we're on a road with like a 45 mile an hour speed limit. It's fine. But once you're up at 65, you put your foot to the floor and it's like.
Yeah.
So it's not really that great.
It definitely has to downshift. You cannot pass in the same gear at highway speeds.
You need a calendar to do the 20 to 60.
Right.
So, I mean, the brakes are good though. And actually, the best part about this car compared to the Edge is definitely the steering.
Yeah.
It's
just the car.
It does.
Yeah.
It actually feels really good. And it's something that honestly, for someone who just wants a car to drive and daily drive, I think this is the perfect car. The brakes, though, comparable to the Edge. Kind of how far down you are in the brake zone.
Just use them.
Exactly.
Easy to modulate the throttle as well and everything like that.
It is actually really easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't know. There's no weird
quirks.
There's not really. It's kind of the first car we've really driven that you put it in gear and go and it feels normal in all the right ways.
Yeah.
This is a daily driver. It's just good for that.
Yeah, it definitely
You were
is.
even saying you would consider buying it for a Lexus or...
Yeah, I would not buy it myself, but I'd buy it for a Lexus, although it'd probably be too slow.
Yeah.
But
if you got it as a company car.
If I had it as a company car, I wouldn't mind it.
Right.
Especially if it had certain features that are above an SE, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really the first car that I've had high expectations for it to just be like a pretty good car that the average person is going to want to buy and drive, and it has enough power and it's intuitive. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as car enthusiasts, quote unquote, it's not something that we would necessarily want to buy, but 90% of people who are in the market for a newish car, this is just a good option, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's no surprise that the 2017 Ford Escape is quite poor in the performance department. But as a car to comfortably shuttle you from place to place, that is where the Escape shines. Now, being a commuter car requires a decent interior, so how does the Escape do in that department?
As far as the quarters go,
Yes. The
as Nick would put it, the day-to-day quarters that we're in.
It's fitting.
So as far as the kitchen goes back here, I actually am pretty comfortable.
Ted's comfortable
I actually
in
haven't
the
sat
kitchen.
back there yet, so I don't know.
I don't think you'll be comfortable, but we'll see.
I don't know. It's not bad. I mean, I'm surprised at the amount of legroom that I had.
I think you'll be okay headspace-wise.
Yeah, no, this car actually has a lot of
Headroom.
Yeah.
Well, and if Ted moves the seat forward or I move the seat forward,
Well,
leg
the
space,
seat-
you'll be
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And
But-
Nick sat in the front seat in my seating position and moved it back just a little bit, and I still have at least 5-6 inches of legroom, which is more than I would have ever thought you'd get a Ford Escape.
It's definitely roomier that way. I will say, though, that seat seems strangely narrow to me.
Oh yeah, the seats are definitely a little
Or
narrow.
that
No,
seat?
the back seats are
Oh, okay.
very narrow comparatively. And that's because they squeezed that fifth passenger in, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the middle. So
I don't know. Actually, though, the nice thing for the middle passenger back here, if they squeezed in somehow, is that the hump on the floor, the transmission tunnel or whatever is down there, is not that big. So you actually can put your feet down.
Nice. So, not a car for 5 people on a long drive, or
No.
even maybe 4 people on a long drive.
What about 4 people on a dog?
Maybe.
Is the dog in the seat or in the cargo area?
Dog would be
Decent cargo
very,
area.
very happy in the cargo
Not
area.
bad, actually.
Almost room to play fetch back there.
Yeah, the space in this car is packaged very well. There's a lot of room in each section, and it's kind of surprising because the car is pretty tiny, all
Yeah.
things considered.
You've got some decent storage areas. You've got up on the front on the dash here. You don't want to build too high.
I feel like I'm really in you.
Yeah,
though.
you
Like,
are.
It is
very up,
narrow.
up in my elbow space
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I mean, but you were saying it's basically the interior of a Focus almost.
I think
just
it's
a little
very
higher up.
Yeah, I think it's actually up front. I think space-wise, it's very comparable to the ST.
And also,
Yeah.
we're quite wide fellas,
We
so I don't know if we represent the average population necessarily. And the guy who owns this is also a fairly big guy. He's like 6'3" and pretty wide too, and he's comfortable dailying it, so it must not be that bad.
The front seats aren't bad.
No.
It's really only the back seat that I have a problem with is width-wise. So
And you've got storage pockets in all the doors, and you've got what's it called, the thingy back here?
power outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've
One
got
of them.
The
One of them
12
fellas.
volts. You also have one actually behind your shoulder, like in the trunk area. It's kind of weird.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, if that's like to charge something in the trunk.
Or maybe to use a vacuum or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or like a
Little
air pump.
Air pump, yeah. Overall, rest of the interior is pretty just base level Ford, plasticky, not terrible though.
Yeah.
We were saying that we like the buttons on the dash. They're very, I don't know,
They just have a nice feel.
yeah, they've got a good feel. It's
Yeah.
kind of almost like a matte black, maybe that's why.
I think I like that they're not trying to be something that they're not. Like, they don't have a weird texture or
Right,
like
they're
some
just cheap.
crap chrome on top of it.
Yeah, it's just, it's simple,
Right.
nice, straightforward,
Yeah.
very open. This is what we are, and this is
They
what
have
we're
a
here
nice
to do.
feel.
and
And, yeah.
I don't like how angled forward the buttons are for the radio controls.
It
and
is a
stuff,
little
though.
weird.
It is.
It's a little far away.
It's a little flowy with the dash.
How do you guys like the gauge cluster?
I like it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I like the trip. I like the trip a lot on the
Mm-hmm.
ST too.
It's useful.
There's just so much information on it.
Yeah, and it's all. I mean, it's not all pertinent information. I don't need to know exactly how much gas mileage you've got, but maybe if you could replace. I wonder if you can replace one of those with. No, you can't.
No.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Oh well.
'Cause it'd be nice to replace one of those with, like, the digital speedometer, just to.
Yeah, you don't need to know what your average fuel economy is, what your current fuel economy is, and how much mile or range you have left.
Yes.
And even your overall
This
mileage.
is just like a little like math quadrant square going on here.
Yeah.
Oh, all these numbers relate to one another.
But it fits. Like, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buttons on the steering wheel are pretty easy to use.
And they're not intrusive,
Not cluttered.
and
No.
they're pretty self-explanatory. I like that you only have the lower buttons on one side of the vehicle.
Yeah. I do too. I really liked the steering wheel when I had the ST. Obviously it wasn't whatever this is.
Yeah,
But
it's like a vinyl-y.
like the STs was really nice, but it was the same kind of design on the horn, and it was a flat bottom, and the buttons were exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously there are no paddle shifters. HVAC, same thing. It's the same
Yeah.
climate cluster.
I will say the display for the HVAC is kind of a little. It's just old. Like it's an older style of.
I don't
And it-
mind it, but I think that part of that is, like, yeah, technology's come a long way, but what can you really do with that?
Right. It annoys me a little bit that it doesn't match the rest of the screens. You do have LED interior lights, so Nick is pleased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God forbid.
With the base, you only get You don't get Sync 3, you just get...
I think you just get Sync. I don't know what you
Sync?
call it, but
Yeah.
yeah, you don't get Sync 3, so there's no CarPlay.
Sync
It's
negative
not
3.
a touchscreen. It's really fugly. Like, it's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
I don't know why the screen is so far away too.
Yeah.
It's like you need a telescope or something.
It's like, hello,
Right.
hello over there.
Just flip down the bifocal real quick.
Yeah.
Well, we are in the parlor.
Yes. Here, let me get my...
Yeah,
Monocle.
I've always despised that about a base Ford.
Yeah.
Like, even like the vans you rent from Home Depot. Like, I think that's what it reminds me of, is just something you rent
Yeah.
that you're using and abusing and not...
Well, It's kind of like a middle finger to anyone who gets the base model. It's like worse than blank switches. It's like
yeah,
you
right.
know.
Yeah, I think that's how I look at it.
Side note quickly about the sound system. It sucks, and we mean that this time. It's really not good, but
You still would rather sacrifice your safety for your arm height there?
Yeah, well, because I don't know. I just feel
Yeah,
like there's
you're
not
narrow.
a good place to put your arms.
yeah.
Like, I don't
It's
know.
not,
Kinda
yeah,
like-
it's not great on the door sill.
No.
It's not great on the...
Like, I think maybe if that was a little higher.
Yeah,
Or if the
almost
car
like-
was a little wider and that was a little wider.
Yeah.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
The little things.
So we.
Oh, we like the clicking of the stock.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and demonstrate that for us. Good old Ford.
It's just kind of nice.
Yeah.
The audio engineer that worked on it did a good job. He kept it.
I think actually the only other thing I could say that I don't love, and actually we talked about this on the Edge, I believe, is when you put your high beams on, it doesn't stay out. And I think we all like the blue dial or the blue
I've always liked
needles.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah. The other thing we really like, even though they're cloth seats, they're fairly quality feeling,
They are.
and they have a nice design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Front
yeah.
and
I
back.
actually I like these seats.
Yeah, they don't feel bad either.
No, they don't.
The Escape's interior is strangely nice for such a base version of a cheap car. It's got excellent seats, decent material quality, and tons of storage for a compact crossover. The one major downside is that the tech in the SE is pretty poor, and we'd really encourage most people to take that step up to the SEL, which brings in Sync 3 and a whole host of other lovely features and better materials. The final question now being, is it worth the price?
Yeah, so I know we talked about this earlier, but what do you guys think about the exterior? I am very against certain angles.
Nick's gonna get his picket sign. Again, certain.
Again, certain here.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not.
Nah, it's not.
I don't mind really any of it. I don't find any of it horrifying to look at. I mean,
But put together, it's just bad.
I do like the front. I like the way the grille looks, especially
Yeah.
compared to the previous year, the 13 to 16s. But
I have to say, I kind of like the taillights. I like how they fit in the rear of the vehicle.
That's
I like
funny.
the previous facelift taillights.
Yeah.
Or not previous, pre-facelift. Sorry.
Yeah.
Overall, my opinion of the exterior is just, it is an exterior. Like, it's not, I'm not offended by any of it like Nick is, but I'm also not
Yeah.
really like, ooh, even ooh.
Every time I see one, I'm the ooh.
What angle particularly?
I think it's the rear.
Okay.
Like a rear 3/4 to me. Like, I feel like the car is taller than it is. Like, it's not proportionate.
It is very narrow from the outside.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of clown carish to me.
Well, three of us.
Like, the new one I actually like a lot, especially after seeing it in person. I think they just kind of made it a little bit better proportion-wise.
Yeah, they put the focus face on it.
Yeah.
Just like let it go.
Right.
So,
Yeah. But it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
it doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm very.
I cry at night, but
Nick throws up a little bit in his mouth every time he sees one, but then
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah. there's-
I actually
yeah,
think it's
Escape.
more so the pre-facelift. These ones are a little bit better.
I don't like the front of the pre-facelift. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, gag a little. Yeah.
And price-wise, it's a good deal.
It is, actually.
It is. You can get these for like 14, 15, 16, you know, like
That's not
17,
bad.
18.
Yeah.
Even the, like, personally, if I was getting one of these, I would for sure opt for the SEL or above, because I would want Sync 3.
Yeah.
I think it's a worthwhile option. If you don't care about anything and you just want the cheapest, I mean, this is perfectly serviceable, but Sync 3 is really good, and I like having some, you know, it's a modern car. I want some modern amenities if I'm going to get a modern car.
Right, and I think there's something about having, you know, Apple CarPlay, especially if you're driving, you know, maybe 45 or 50 minutes, and, you know, like, there's just nothing better than having Waze up and being able to do all that.
And Nick, like you said, you know, if you have the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto, if you have one of those,
Yeah.
or both of them, probably both of them, but if you have that feature, your radio never really goes out of date, because it's always up to date with your phone.
Right.
So,
And also, getting CarPlay and Sync 3 and all that kind of cleans up this area a little bit, I think.
Mhm.
So you don't have that awkward screen that's like all the way back there,
Right.
which I think adds to the quality of the interior. And you probably do get nicer seats. I actually like the
cloth's damn nice, though.
the what?
The cloth is really nice.
It is. It is nice. So in terms of just, you know, reliability and things like that, the 1.5 is actually a revision of the 1.6, so it doesn't have really any problems. It's better than the 2-liter in terms of, you know, longevity. So,
good to know.
yeah, I'd get one. I'd be fine with it.
Did this suffer from any of the weird focus failures, the transmission-wise?
No, because this never had the dual clutch. Not post facelift.
Yeah.
This has like a regular torque converter
Gotcha.
auto. Yeah, so when you buy one of these, you're not like definitively going to go through 3 transmissions and like 20,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we were saying earlier, it's like, you know, these are cheap to maintain and to do all the things that you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're not someone who's going to do it yourself.
Right, yeah. Because we previously had said that the Jetta GLI is one of the best was the best value of any car that we've driven, but for the normal person, this is probably better.
Yeah.
For what you're getting, especially if you get an SEL.
Yeah.
That would be totally cool.
Yeah.
with it.
I also think that if someone asked us, if I really need an SUV and they were really set on an SUV under, say, $20,000 or something, I would recommend this.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I did actually. The owner of this car asked me what to get. Well, this was one of the suggestions. So.
The 2017 Ford Escape SE is arguably the best overall value of any car we've reviewed this far, at least as far as commuter cars. Whether or not you find it attractive, it has everything you need in terms of space and tech to get through a long drive to work or a road trip, though we still maintain that the jump to an SEL is worth the small premium on the used market. The Escape is not exciting, but it's comfortable. Its 1.5-liter engine is very reliable, and it's reasonably priced, especially used. Hard to argue with that. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more car reviews, DIY videos, and an upcoming podcast.
And like and subscribe.
All right, so this is the first car that we've. Jesus Christ.
Superstar.
There's
200 turtles.
This is the
200 turtles.
200 turtle power. 200 foot-pounds of tortoise.
What's the turtle power in this car here?